My name is Blessing Ajayi. We are here at GWARDS Studio, and today I am at People's Blessing Show to interview a very special guest, Jermaine Chambers.
Thank you.
And today, Jermaine Chambers, how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much, Minister Blessing, for having me on the Blessing Ajayi Show. Delighted to be back in your beautiful studios here in the west end of Brampton, Ward 6. Good to be here.
Thank you so much. We are pleased to have you today.
Yes.
We have invited you today to share your mission and communicate to our community.
Yes.
And especially in the area of Brampton West, which is the Ward 2 and 6 that you're going to be serving.
Yes.
And I'm very delighted to see that you're going for councilorship.
Yes.
You know, we need you. Do you know I'm also in the Brampton West?
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, so please tell us, what do you have for us?
So I'm running to be the new city councilor right here in Wards 2 and 6. First of all, I'll start off by saying thank you to our outgoing councillor. Councillor Doug Williams has retired after 2 terms, so he decided not to seek re-election, so he has retired. So we're definitely going to have a new councillor come October 24th, and I'm hoping to be that councillor. So just to back up a bit, Wards 2 and 6 is the entire northwest area of Brampton. So it takes in from Highway 410 is the east border. So we go Highway 410 and we're coming east, says Highway 410, Kennedy, Hugh, Ontario, down to McLaughlin, to Chincoosy, to Mississauga Road, all the way to Winston Churchill. And in the north, we have Mayfield Road coming down to Wanless, to Sandalwood, down to Bovaird. It also goes a little bit south, so it's at Bovaird and Mississauga Road. It goes south along Mississauga Road to the west, all the way down to Steeles, then coming eastbound on Steeles back to Chincoosy, or Mavis if you call it that, and then circle around to the 407, back to Winston Churchill. So all of Heart Lake, all of Snail Grove, all of Mount Pleasant, all of Fletcher's Meadows, all of Huntnerville, all of Churchville, that's all Wards 2 and 6. Wow. So if you live in that area, I am asking you for your support as I seek to be your next city councillor.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know for the past few years you've been so passionate.
Yes.
You know, that one thing I like about you is about the drive.
Yes.
You know, the drive. Sometimes I was like, this guy has a lot to give to us, right? So tell us, what would you give to us if we should elect you? Our community want to know, our riding want to know.
Yeah. So Minister Blessing, I'll say that representation is important. You bring, I hope to, as you say, I first ran in 2018 for city councillor in this same area. There were 9 people in that race running for city councillor. Unfortunately, I came in second out of 9, didn't win that one. And then last year in 2021, I ran to be the member of parliament in Brampton West. Again, it was a challenging race. Our party didn't do so well. So now I'm running again, and as a city councillor, we run as an independent. So I probably should say that we don't run as a political party. We run as independents. And it's all about representation. It's all about being a voice to speak on behalf of the people. Bringing my lived experience to the table at City Hall. Brampton, we're almost about 700,000 people. We are a wide, diverse community here in Brampton, and I think it's very important that we have all voices at the table. If you look right now within the black community specifically, you know, there's no one from our community at the table right now at the city of Brampton. We had Councilor Williams there a few years ago. Then, you know, in June she ran for provincial parliament and won, and now she's gone from the province. So, you know, it's important that we have a wide representation at City Hall so that, you know, all voices can be there as we make policy that will impact us as a people.
That's very right.
Yeah.
I know. How many of you are contesting for this councillorship?
For this area, I think we have 9 candidates.
In our riding?
In wards 216, yes.
Oh, really?
It's 9 candidates again. So it's very important that all your viewers go out there to vote.
Yes.
Because when you have 9 candidates, I mean, the votes are divided all over. So, you know, it's kind of hard to get a big majority. So I'm just going to ask all of you who are viewing, please, to go out on voting days are early. You know, October 7th to the 9th is when you could start voting. Yeah. Early voting, October 7th to the 9th. Then again on October 14th and 15th. And then election day, the final day to vote, is on October 24th. Yeah. But I always say, don't wait until the last day. Go vote early. Vote October 7th to the 9th.
Yes, so among all the 9,
yes,
what do you think that it makes it very special to be a representative of our riding, Brampton West 2 and 6?
So I've lived in this area for a very long time. You know, matter of fact, my first home that I've ever bought was right here in this area, in Ward 6. So I've lived in the area for a long time. I've watched the area grow and develop, and I have a very good understanding of the needs of wards 2 and 6. And again, I've also bring my own experience. You know, I've spent all my working life in finance. I've worked for many years in banking. I've worked factor of fact with 3 of Canada's top 5 banks. You know, we say we have the top 5 banks, the big 5. Yeah. And I've worked with 3 of the big 5 banks. So I bring a strong financial background. Currently I operate a mortgage business. So I bring a strong financial background to City Hall to basically help making sure that we're managing the money and our resources very well at City Hall. So that experience is something I bring to City Hall. I've also been very engaged in the community for a very long time. Yeah. You know, whether it be as a Rotarian, I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Heart Lake. And Rotarian is all about service. You know, I volunteer sometimes with the Heart Lake Food Cupboard, just to collect food and help them to distribute food to those who are in need, right? And recently, I was probably the only candidate out of the 9 who was appointed by the Ontario government to the Ontario Trillium Foundation. Thank you so very much. Again, just being there to serve the community. So I bring with me, you know, a good experience, a good amount of community service, working in the community. Also within my own faith community, helping other charitable organizations over the years, connecting different people to resources. So I bring a good amount of community experience and working with the various individuals to the position. Yeah,
I want to ask you one again. When I read your flyer, you mentioned restoring integrity in Mississippi government. Can you tell us more about that?
So to be honest with you, what we have seen, for those of us who have been looking, City Hall has been quite a challenge, so to speak. Put it nicely, it has been quite a challenge at City Hall. What we have seen is that the government at Brampton City Hall right now has not been functioning like a good government should function. You know, we have heard about the cancelled meetings. We have heard about councillors accusing each other of mismanagement of funds. We have seen the fightings that are taking place at City Hall. We have seen meetings have to be cancelled because councillors can't come together to conduct those meetings. And therefore, you know, when you have a government that's not functioning the way that it should, you know, it impacts so many things. You know, there are many, for example, as simple things as various proclamations could not go through because councils wasn't meeting. You know, appointments could not have been made. You know, you could not authorize bylaws or authorize funding for various organizations because meetings were not being kept. Businesses look at that and business say, okay, if I'm an investor and I have some money to invest and I see the dysfunction at City Hall, do I take my money to invest it in Brampton? Or do I go to Markham to invest my money? So as a business person, you want to know that when you're going to a city, that the city has a government that is functional, a government that is stable, and a government that has some amount of integrity. So, it's very important that, we elect people to the city of Brampton who will gain the confidence of the business community, who will gain the confidence of just generally the wider public, to know that, we have people here that we can trust to look after our affairs. So when I talk about restoring integrity, that's what I'm talking about, is to get the government functioning again, is to get a stable government, and one that gains the respect and admiration of many people.
We actually have few more priorities, if you can mention some of them.
Yes. Yeah, so I think one of the big challenges that we see in Brampton is the whole issue of safety. Safety is a big one. Safety, we have seen, this year so far over last year is a 250% increase in homicides in Brampton alone. We look at where we are this year versus where we were last year. And that to me is alarming. It means that our city is becoming increasingly unsafe. Right, when you have that amount of homicides taking place in our city. One is too much, compared to over 250% increase. So, I would like to see a few things happening there. I would like to see, Justice Toller, for example, some time ago did a review of what you think the police service would be more efficient. I would love to see those recommendations implemented. I'm not sure if as you drive down the road, sometimes you tend to see all these police cars and police resources park on the construction site. And I'm saying, let's move our police resources from the construction site and get them into the neighborhoods so that they can keep our neighborhoods safe. Because, I want to make sure that I live in a safe neighborhood. Another program I want to see is that, we help residents to kind of, we install cameras in the various communities so that we have eyes everywhere. So that we know if somebody is coming to try and hurt a resident of Ward 216 or a resident of Brampton, we can see who they are, we can see where they come from, we can see where they are going. We could also have a program to help residents to install at least a doorbell camera or a camera at the front of their houses so that they can see what's going on. So if something should happen on the street, everybody would have a camera, or we can all roll back and help the police so we can find those who are responsible. So, that's one of the things, a part of my whole crime plan, is to kind of get all the residents involved so we can keep our neighborhood safe. You talk about safety again in terms of our roads. Our roads are getting unsafe in Brampton. We just buried 3 young people yesterday. My condolences out to their parents. Those 3 young people who had an accident right at Sandalwood and Conestoga. 3 young lives. We have seen a massive increase in the amount of car accidents and people who are dying as a result of these car accidents. Kids are trying to play in the park, and cars are speeding around the park. Cars are speeding on our neighborhood roads, and I would want to see some speed bumps to slow people down on our community roads.
It's very, very important and urgent right now. The way the speeding. One day I was looking at my house camera and I saw cars speeding as if it's on the major road.
Yes. And that's a problem for, even our neighborhood streets, people are speeding on. So I want to put those speed bumps in, put those rumble strips in, so we're keeping our roads safer. So that when your kids or even your parents, or even other young people want to go out on the road, we don't have to be so concerned that, they might get hit by a vehicle. So, safety is really important as a part of my plan as well.
Yes. That's quite majority of the most important fact of the things we need solution in this our community.
Yes.
For me, I've lived in Brampton West for a long time, so I have so much interest for my community, and we are looking for the best candidate, and the way I'm looking at it now, you got it all. Thank you.
Thank you. The next few years in Brampton in Wards 2 and 6 are going to be very important. It has to, we need to elect a councilor, and that's why I'm offering myself to somebody who kind of understands the issues, as well as, as I said, someone who comes with the experience. I come with the experience to how do we plan for the next 10 years in the area. So, for example, Brampton Wards 6 in particular, we're going to have one of the biggest developments that Brampton would have in a long time. When you look at all that land to the west of Boviard and Mississauga Road, that's all land that are poised for development. And therefore, how we have a unique opportunity right now to make sure that we get that development right. That we don't just go build all kind of houses over there, but make sure that there's some commercial activity, that people can find good jobs in the city in terms of the development. Make sure as well, we have some space available for religious institutions, so we can build our churches and build our mosques and our good wards and institutions there. And, we could also make sure that there's good opportunity for recreation to be a part of that, whether it be a cricket stadium or a basketball facility, but some world standard facility. So it is a very important election that we have, because we need somebody, and hopefully I'll be that person who can provide the guidance as to how we develop all that new virgin area that we have in the west end of Brampton there. So that's going to be a very, very important development. So I ask residents to kind of bear that in mind, when you go to vote, because it's really important the next few years.
Yeah, I think it's very important that this video go viral for you.
Yes.
So that they will understand that you made another point here by building, not just residential houses, or mixed with all the other recreations, and
employment.
And actually, we need industrial buildings and businesses,
commercial.
So that people can so people can have opportunity to be employed and be very active to produce for their community also.
Before you jump from that though, let me say one thing again on housing, because one of the things I am observing as well in Brampton, and you would have seen it in your own neighborhood too, is that quite a number of Bramptonians are leaving Brampton because of the cost of housing. Our young people, we have a median age in Brampton of about 32.5 years old. So Brampton is a very young city in terms of the young people who live here. But a number of the young people in Brampton are leaving because they can't afford the cost of housing in Brampton. And, if you check out my website at jermainechambers.ca, that's my website, jermainechambers.ca, you will see a part of my housing plan is to make sure that we put in place some kind of housing where our young people can at least have a good start in terms of home ownership in Brampton. So I'm proposing, for example, what I call either an in-law suite housing or a backyard housing. There are some houses, Minister Blessing, that are on big pieces of land that you could easily build a second unit at the back of those units. So we're going to have to be creative in terms of how we look at housing in Brampton. We may have to authorize some lots where you can build a nice in-law suite, a nice 2-bedroom suite, and those should be available only for first-time home buyers. So young people who are buying a house for the first time should be able to access these so that they can continue to live in Brampton, and as they save more and gain some equity, then they can move up to a different kind of housing. We are hearing talks in other cities, for example, about a tiny housing program, these tiny homes, and we may need to look at that in Brampton to say, maybe a young person can start from a tiny home, build up their savings instead of paying out rent, build up their savings, build up their equity, and then they can, as their family grows and their housing needs grow, then they can look at a different kind of housing. But we have to look at, I strongly believe in empowering people through home ownership, and I think these are, whether it be a tiny home program or a backyard home program, look at ways in which we can get young people to start owning property so that they can stay in Brampton. That's a big part of what I want to bring to the city.
That's very, very important. I can see you're speaking for your, as a young guy, that know the feeling of young people.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think you have great ideas. And then you said it all, and all those things are very important for us.
Yes.
And what will you tell your viewers, like if it's just few words to take home from knowing that they have to vote for you?
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And to the viewers, I say, I'm just offering myself to you, offering myself and the experience that I have gained over the last few years to be your new city councillor. I'll be available, I'll be accessible, and I'll work hard every day to listen to your needs and to represent your needs at City Hall, and to see how best we can move this city forward and move this area forward for the next few years. So I want to ask you for your vote. If you want to learn more, it's jermainechambers.ca. You have my phone number there. You have my my email address there. Let's connect. And let's do everything we can. Let's go out and vote. Vote early. I always say vote early. You know, because sometimes, you know, you might get caught up at work on election day and you don't get to go out and vote. So the voting dates, again, is October 7th to the 9th. You can go, I think, either here it would be Cassie Campbell or Jim Archdeacon Center. There will be 2 locations you could vote early. October 7th to the 9th. Again, on October 14th and 15th are days that you can really go out there to vote early. And then the last day to vote would be on October 24th. So hopefully I could earn your support as we keep our neighborhood safe, keep our streets safe, as we invest in the future of Brampton, both in terms of housing as well as, you know, investing in terms of you know, economic development for our city and recreational development for our city. So I look forward to earning the support of your viewers.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Viewers, as you can see, will you want to vote for Jermaine Chambers? Well, we want to encourage you, please. He's representing Ward 2 and 6. On this October 7th and 9th, October 14th and 15th, and October 24th. Go vote. Vote the best into our riding. And Jermaine is here to talk to you all, to vote for him. And he'll be expecting to see you all there. Vote for, according to your slogan.
A brighter future for Brampton.
Yes. Brighter future for Brampton. We look forward.
Yes.
We want you on that seat.
Thank you.
By the grace of God, let's see. We want the best.
Thank you so much.
And I think you are the best. Though.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Here is the GWA studio. We are at People's Blessing Show. Thank you for viewing and God bless you.